Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I think we got some stuff to talk about, so let's get into it. So, what happened to the Evo? We're gonna go ahead and wind back just about a year. If you guys have seen the video beforehand when we were taking the motor out, I kind of explained what happened. So, there was a little bit of catastrophic failure in the motor, unfortunately, and that happens. In this industry, you pay to play. If you guys haven't seen that video and discussion of what happened to the engine, go ahead and click the video right here. I'll have it tagged so that you can kind of get caught up to speed. But what has taken so long? So that's kind of what I want to talk about in this video. Everyone that has been a supporter of this build, all of my sponsors, have been absolutely phenomenal. I mean, seriously, unmatched in this entire build. So there has been a lot that has happened in the last year since you guys have pretty much seen the car. So right here, right now, we are starting the rebuild series for Riot. Riot 2.0. It started with, let's just go ahead and do a simple motor refresh. And I think I covered a little bit of this, but I'll catch you guys a little bit up to speed in this video. So it started as just kind of like a motor refresh. We were gonna replace the pistons and rods, obviously do the cams, new timing set, new cam buckets, valve springs, retainers, you know, all of that stuff. So it was just gonna be a nice motor refresh. We kind of needed to just have a sit down with me and my sponsors of what makes sense. After long discussions with Exigent Solutions Racing, one of the sponsors for the build, and as well as Art Gennari Turbo, another sponsor for the build, we came to the conclusion that just go balls to the walls at this point. I mean, how much it was going to cost to refresh the motor and everything that I was trying to go for anyways, the setup was tapped. The previous setup was capped out. There wasn't much more that it had left in it. And so refreshing the motor with new stuff ready to go, yeah, but I would eventually have that horsepower bug that we all get as car enthusiasts. And so it just kind of came down to the point where just do it right the first time. And I think that's a very important lesson that I hope you guys can also learn from this situation from me. Just a little bit of history. Obviously, I bought this car used. For those that don't know, it's a 2015 Lancer Revolution 10 GSR. It is not a final edition. I bought it with 14,000 miles, one owner car, clean title, everything is good. Unfortunately, I didn't know anything getting into this car. This car has taught me a lot, in good ways and bad ways. It's taught me who you want to be around you when you're doing builds like this, who's actually like there to help you, and also don't cheap out, man. Just do it right the first time. Don't cut corners. And unfortunately, there was a lot of corners cut from the previous owner of this vehicle. So let's go ahead and go over what we're doing. So we're doing full built long block. I think we already talked about that in the previous video, but fully built long block, oil pan to valve cover. Everything is brand new, refreshed, ready for crazy power. When the motor gets here, we're gonna be doing a whole video on that motor, and so that we can go over the specs, and because I know that you guys want to see that, and so we will be doing a video on that. The next thing is we decided, well, you might as well upgrade the clutch. So the clutch we're gonna do as well. And again, that will be for another video. So when all of this comes around, you'll see, because this is going to be an entire build series, talking about everything we're doing along the journey of the rebuild itself. It just took a lot of time to get here. I don't think a lot of people, especially on the internet and YouTube, there's a lot that happens behind the scenes. And I don't think enough people talk about that. This industry also gets very, very, very expensive very, very fast. It took a lot of time to get here. I don't make any money from YouTube. I have a full-time job, and I'm doing this on my own, aside from the amazing, amazing support that I'm having from my sponsors. That's why it's taken kind of so long, is 1, getting parts, 2, developing a game plan, 3, obviously, money. You need money to do anything when it comes to this kind of stuff, especially motorsports. So that's kind of it. That's why it has taken so long. And part of the game plan is, again, just a full build. And so in today's video, we're going to be talking about the turbo kit. So let's get into it. And here it is, guys. So this is everything that you need to do a custom top mount turbo kit for your Evo 10. So this also begins episode 1 of the Big Turbo Evo 10 build series for Riot. So the first thing I want to go over is everything you need to do a custom top mount turbo kit for your Evo 10. So what we have here is a BS Fab top mount turbo kit, all with V-band flanges, super nice welds. I mean, it is just absolutely beautiful. So BS Fab, or Brandon Smith out of Erie, PA, is one of the sponsors of the build. So I need to give a huge shout out to him for getting this kit made. It looks absolutely stunning. The quality is just unparalleled. Everything about this kit is just absolutely phenomenal. And you can tell that he takes his time. He's kind of a smaller shop in comparison to other fabrication shops, but his work is just completely unmatched. It is all hand done, no crazy machining. It's not done in a computer. It's hand beaded, hand welded, back purged. Everything is just absolutely top-notch quality. So when you buy one of these kits, you have the option of doing either a T3, T4 divided housing or a V-band housing, as well as doing a hood exit setup or a 3-inch downpipe with recirculated wastegate dump. So we absolutely had to go full send on it and do a full hood exit setup, and it's going to be absolutely sick. So again, manifold, this is what you're going to need that goes from the head to the turbo. And then part of that kit, you'll also get, depending on which one you buy. So if you buy the hood exit one, you're going to get your hood exit, also really nice quality. And also comes with a bung for an O2 sensor, so you can hook up your wideband, AFR gauge, or whichever. You also get a really sick decal. Try to see if we can see that in the sun there. I mean, that thing, this is just really nice quality, guys. You want to do a top mount turbo kit for your Evo 10, and you're looking at other brands. I'm not going to name any brands, but you're looking at other brands that are asking $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 for a kit like this. It's just, you can do it for better and cheaper. And that's kind of the purpose of this entire build, is to show you guys that you can do your own custom top mount turbo kit at a fraction of the cost. And I think that's really cool. And so these kits, this kit ranges just about, depending on if you do the recirculated 3-inch downpipe or you just do the hood exit, will range in between about $2,200 to $2,500, depending on how you set it up and if you're doing titanium. So we decided to do a stainless steel manifold, stainless steel exhaust dump, and then we did a titanium wastegate dump tube, and this thing is also absolutely beautiful. I love this blue-purple color that he did. You guys will see that that's going to become a common theme in this build, is what I like to call blurple. That is blue-purple, and I think that's going to be absolutely sick. So this is pretty much everything you need for the as far as like exhaust side equipment. You'll also need some V-band flanges. His kit does come with the exhaust flange. So this is a 3-inch exhaust flange that will go basically right here and then mates to the exhaust housing of your turbo. So you're only going to need one other V-band flange outside of what comes with your wastegate, and that is going to be the turbo to manifold flange V-band clamp. So you're going to need one for the turbo to the manifold, and then this will come with your BS Fab turbo kit. So you will also have your wastegate. This is a Tile MVR 44mm wastegate. This is one of the larger ones that they offer. They do offer a 60mm, and they do also offer 38s. So this one is good for pretty much all the boost. It comes with variable springs. I don't have everything set out here as far as what comes with the Wastegate, but you get a bunch of different spring rates to adjust spring pressure. All you have to do is just undo these little bolts here, if it'll focus. You just got to undo these little bolts right here all around the housing, and you can put different springs in there to change the spring pressure. Usually your tuner will request what you're going to do. And also the neat thing is these tile MVR wastegates, but they are also water cooled if you decide to. You don't have to, but if you're going to be running a lot of boost through these things, you can water cool them, which I think is really cool. Again, I will have everything that I have laid out here and everything you need to do your own custom top mount turbo kit in the description below, so you guys can take a look at that. Next thing is obviously going to be your turbo. So that's where this thing comes in. So this is pretty much the bee's knees. This is the AGT or Art Gennari Turbo 68mm V-band full frame turbo. This turbo is absolutely huge. I don't know if you guys can see. So I have a decent sized hand. That thing is massive. I am so excited to run this turbo on this build. Again, huge shout out to AGT or Art Gennari. Also a good friend of mine, Tyler, builds some of the best turbos that you can get on the market for especially stuff like this. And so to kind of go over some of the specs with these turbos, so this turbo comes with a 4-inch anti-surge inlet and a 2.5-inch outlet to give you all of the airflow that you can possibly get through this thing. It has a 95 pound per minute flow rate. You're also looking at a 68 by 94 millimeter billet 7-blade compressor wheel, and also on the back 66 by 74 millimeter turbine wheel. So this turbo, if you wanted to compare it to others on the market, would be like a 68 66 turbo, very close to like Precision 6870. Now this is a dual ball bearing turbo. It is both oil and water cooled. You can run it oil only, but it is recommended at higher boost applications with this turbo to also run water through it, just to increase longevity and the reliability of the turbo. It is a full V-band in and out, obviously. You can see here, as well as the V-band flange right there. So that way, when you are deciding how you're going to do your top mount turbo setup, you want to make sure that you are matching up your flange type to the turbo that you pick out. So what I normally recommend for people is pick the turbo you want to run. So for me, this is going to be the 68mm from AGT. And then you want to kind of work around that, because that is going to be what makes the power. That's going to how your car is going to respond. I mean, everything is going to rely off of this thing. So you want to make sure you pick a good turbo that's right for you. And that's why I recommend AGT to everybody that wants to do especially custom setups like this. And this is why I recommend to so many people, and why I recommend to you guys to get if you're looking to upgrade your turbo, to go with AGT, because not only are they really good quality, but they're also very affordable. And also you get a 1/8 MPT and a speed sensor port, so you have all of the monitoring that you would possibly need on any other high quality full frame turbo. This thing coming in about $2,000 in comparison to its alternative options deep in the $3,000 range. So, I mean, this is just a really good turbo to get for your money. So the next thing, you're going to want to protect this turbo and also the things around it. So I do highly recommend getting a turbo blanket. This is a PTP lava, that's just what they call it, a PTP turbo blanket for the exhaust housing. This will not only ensure that the heat from the exhaust housing is contained efficiently, but also keeps the surrounding area of the turbo from damaging anything like lines, your ABS, your firewall, your valve cover, anything along those lines. That is going to ensure as much protection as you possibly can get with a top-out kit. Hardware. So there's a couple of things I'm still waiting in the mail for. Again, one is going to be one of the other V-band flanges for the turbo to manifold, but you're also going to need something to protect your coolant lines. If you are going to be running a water-cooled turbo, I highly recommend getting some PTP hose line shield. This is going to ensure maximum protection of the coolant lines, the coolant feed and coolant return, as well as the oil feed line. And so I highly recommend picking this up. It's not expensive. It's a very cheap thing to get and can seriously save you a lot of money and a lot of damage. For the water feed, you're going to want a 3/8 barbed style hose. Vibrant makes some really good product, or your coolant feed and coolant lines. You're gonna need a way to mount those up to the turbo, and that's where these guys come in. So these are M14 by 1.5, basically banjo barb fittings. So one, you can get these, and again, I will have everything linked for you guys in the description so that you can just go and click on the links, order all your stuff, and you'll have everything you need to do something like this. But you were going to need these guys. It comes with your copper crush washers and your banjo fittings and your banjo bolts. And basically, this is going to adapt the standard banjo fittings on the turbo to a barb fitting for your water feed and water return lines. Besides that, you're going to need your oil feed and oil return. So that's where you're going to go in here. This is an STM oil feed line. This is basically where your oil feed port comes out of on your block to the turbo. With that also being said, you're going to need an oil return. So STM does also sell a full assembled return line. They just recently started doing that before I bought all of this. So you can just go ahead and get that, but I will also have this stuff linked if you want to make it yourself. If you're going to be needing, you're going to have to make it custom or whatever. So you guys still have the links for this as well. So the things you're going to need, one, you can also get from STM. This is a GT30 or GT35 style oil drain flange for 10 AN fitting. So this comes with a gasket and basically like a metal flange that goes and mounts to the bottom of the turbo and then adapts it to a 10 AN fitting. You will also need, which is still coming in the mail, you will need a 10 AN straight line adapter with some 10 AN, this is Vibrant 10 AN stainless line. I don't recommend the braided because this is going to be right next to the manifold, so I don't recommend having nylon braided line right next to a really hot manifold. You're just kind of asking for issues at that point. So you're going to want to make sure you get a stainless braided line. That way you're good on the oil drain. So you'll get this guy, the oil drain flange to go to the turbo. Again, that is a 10 AN, and then you're going to get a 10 AN straight adapter fitting to mate with this line, and then go from this line to a 10 AN 45 degree line fitting as well. So again, everything will be linked, but flange, 10 AN straight, stainless line, 10 AN 45 degree angle, and then the last part is you're going to need a 10 AN adapter fitting to go to the oil drain port right above the oil pan on the back side of the motor. So this basically, because your factory port doesn't look like this, so this adapts and plugs into the factory port, but this adapts it to 10 AN so that you can plug everything in. So guys, that is everything that you need to do a full custom top mount turbo kit. Again, one more time, everything will be linked in the description below so that you guys can get up in there, order everything you want to get. Again, I need to give a massive shout out to AGT or Tyler Art Gennari Turbo for sending this massive 68mm unit out. I am very excited to see how this thing performs on the Evo, as well as Brandon Smith or BS Fab out of Erie, PA for sending over this absolutely gorgeous top mount V-band turbo kit. And then also, I am not sponsored by Vibrant, I'm not sponsored by MA Performance or STM, but these are where I sourced the hardware that you're gonna need, as well as the tile MVR Wastegate I did also get from MA Performance. But that's gonna be it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I am so excited to get going on this build, and I hope you guys are too. This is gonna be a sick rebuild for the Evo, and we'll catch you in the next one. Talk to you soon.